Mr. Rudd, I have a few suggestions with regard to retirees. Now, a pensioner that retires and he buys shares, he lives in a small home and he buys shares, and when those shares reach a certain percentage that is allowed under Veteran Affairs or I think under general pension appropriations, then your pension cuts out. Now, you can still get your disability pension, but you cannot get your pension because your assets have exceeded the limit that the Veteran Affairs has set. Now, I pay to buy the shares. I have to pay tax on the dividends from the shares. And when I sell the shares, I have to pay capital gains. Now, and yet I don't get any pension. That is wrong, because if I were to sell my home and my shares and I invested that in a larger home, say a house worth $1.5 million, I live in that home for 12 months, I've got no income, so I get a full pension, and if I have a disability, I get the disability pension. If I sell the house after 12 months or more, then any capital gain on the house, I don't pay any capital gain tax. Now, which is the better? The man that lives in a small house and has shares in Australian companies, who has an opportunity to help people to employment and to the benefit of the country, or the man that lives in a large house, does nothing, receives a full pension and a full disability pension, who's helping the country the most? The man that lives in a small house is being discriminated against. There's no doubt about it. If I sell any shares and I want to give any money to my youngsters, my son or my daughter, for any reason whatsoever, I'm limited to $10,000 a year. Now, that is very unfair, because quite often they have things that go wrong in their home, and I can't sell some shares and give it to them, and if I do sell the shares, I pay capital gain on the shares, and I'm only limited to giving them $10,000 a year. That's the total limit that I can give. That is wrong. Something's wrong. I think if you hold shares in an Australian company and you hold them for more than 5 years, you should not have to pay capital gains when you sell the shares. And furthermore, I can't see why you can't still get a pension and a disability pension too. If the person in the large house gets a full pension by living in that house and getting no income because he put all his money into the house, then something's wrong. You're not helping people to save money. You're creating something that's wrong, having an asset that's doing nothing for the country and doing nothing for anybody at all other than the person that lives in that house. That's all I have to say, and I think you should try to do something about it. There should be no capital gain on shares in Australian companies that you hold for 5 years or more. Thank you very much for listening.